If you have trouble making melodies while playing lead guitar, then this lesson is going to be for you. So there's really a few notes to focus on if you want to create melodies. And we'll jump right into this. So what we're doing here in this lesson is we're going to start with major chords, and then once we get through those, we're going to talk about minor chords really quickly. And the idea here is just to focus on your 1, your 2, and your 3. If you don't know what that means, basically when you have a chord, a major chord, it's a 1, a 3, and a 5. So we're talking about intervals that make up that chord. A 1, 2, 3 is just the first 3 notes of the major scale. So if you have an A major chord, to a D major chord, that's all the loop's going to be for this lesson to start off. You need to find your A note, right? And you can find that anywhere. If you go to your A pentatonic, it's right here. On your second fret of your G string. Well, the first 3 notes of your major scale are 1, 2, 3, and it's 2 whole steps apart. So you have 1, 2, 3. So those notes on a major chord, the 1, 2, 3, are the most important notes when making a melody. And you can play around with those notes however you feel. I was just doing something like this. And all that is just 1, 2, 2, slide to 3, 2, 1. And you hit 1 twice on the end there. And that was for the A chord. So the idea is really to just focus on those notes while you're soloing. Focus on the 1, 2, 3. So you need to know where your 1 is the most important thing. And then you can always find your 2 and your 3 because they're just, your 2 is a whole step away from your 1 and your 3 is a whole step away from your 2. So if we're going to start that loop again, well, before we do that, let's talk about that 4 chord. So we have a D chord right here. Well, if you're in this A major scale, and it's a pentatonic scale, but let's turn it into a major scale. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Your 4 is a D note, so it's a 1 to a 4 chord progression, and that's a D note. So now you know where your D note is. Well, your D is a major chord, so your 1, 2, 3 is the same as it would be coming off of a chord, right? It's 1, 2, 3. And there's a lot more that you can do with this than just that little idea, that little phrased idea that I came up with. But you can really hear the chord change with it when you're just doing this without the chords. And those 3 notes, and that 2 is more of a passing tone, so you don't want to hang on it, but your 1 and your 3 are both in the chord, so landing on either of those to resolve on them is going to work, and it's going to be the easiest way to create melodies. So anytime you're stuck in a solo and you're just going through your pentatonic scale, if you can start picking out, okay, what chord am I playing over right now, you can pull out a 1, 2, 3 phrased lick, and you can start making melodic ideas with it. And there's a lot more that you can do with that, but let's just run through an example. So there's a lot of little ideas you can do with just those few notes, and you're limiting yourself, but you're focusing on basically the most melodic notes that you could focus on, and that's over major chords. On this channel, we're trying to get better at guitar, so if that's something you're into, then please like and subscribe. So now if we're going to talk about minor chords, it's going to be very similar. a similar idea. It's not 1, 2, 3. It's going to be flat 3, 4, 5. And that would be because in a minor chord, you have a 1, a flat 3, and a 5 that make up that chord construction. So when you're playing over a minor chord, you have that flat 3 is part of your chord, that 5 is part of your chord, and then that 4 acts as your passing tone for your melody idea. So let's jump through an example of this. We're going to take a D minor to a G minor. So to make this work for minor chords, it's the same idea. You just need to know where your flat 3 is, and then you can use that to find your 4 and your 5 because they're just a whole step away each. So your 4 is a whole step away from your flat 3, and your 5 is a whole step away from your 4. So if you can find your flat 3, if you have this D minor chord right here, well, you have a D note right here. That D note is right there, and then if you go a minor third down, which is a half step down and 1 string up, then that's going to give you your minor third of that D chord, which you can see as part of this shape as well. So if you understand that your 4 chord is right below your 1 chord, and that's how the guitar is tuned, then if you know where your flat 3 is for your 1 chord, and you know it's on the B string at the 6th fret, well, your flat 3 for your 4 chord is going to be directly below that on the high E string. And you can see that here, if you have a 1 chord here, or you have a 1 note here, your D note's here on the 5th fret of your A string, well, your G or your 4 is right below that on the D string at the 5th fret. And it's the same thing. Obviously the B string is tuned down half step, so it's not right below, but the flat 3 for the D string is right there. Not for the D string, for the D chord. And then the flat 3 for your G chord is right below that. And you can hear how melodic these notes sound without even chords behind them. You can create some great melody ideas. You can bend up to that if you're playing a major chord, you can bend up to that 3 note, or if you're playing a minor chord, you can bend up to that 5 note, and obviously use ideas like that. And you can just play around with these, and if you ever get stuck, you can just go, play around with the 1, 2, 3, or the flat 3, 4, 5 if it's a minor chord, and it's going to help you out a lot with making melodies. And you just need to find these within your scales, and you're going to be able to play these notes and sound a lot more melodic than just playing up and down scales all the time. If you want to learn more about the Nashville number system and chord construction, then watch this video right here.